Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Brian Turner here with another episode of the No Stress Midwest podcast. We're here with season one, episode two. Very special guest. We have Mr. Soony Saad coming in from South Korea. I think it's about a 16-hour time difference, you said, so it's pretty late for you.
Something like that.
Something like
It's
that.
between 14 and 16. Doesn't matter. It flies by, man. I don't
Yeah.
know.
It's what time is it there?
It's 10:30 at night.
10:30 there. It's 8:30 a.m. here in KC. I wanted to make sure I woke up early just so I could get the man before he needs his beauty rest. But yeah, Soony, man, thank you for jumping on. How you feeling?
You cut off for a second there.
All right, here we go. It's all right, no worries. Yeah, it said my internet was messed up, but we can edit this out. So hold on. We're just gonna do that intro kind of again, but not as long, okay?
Chilling.
All right,
Hey, whatever you need, bro, I'm here.
my man.
I could be your hype guy too.
That's what I need, actually. That's the next step. Next step.
All right, I got you.
All right. What's going on, everyone? This is Brian Turner here with another episode of the No Stress Midwest podcast, season one, episode two. Today we have a special guest, Mr. Soony Saad, calling in from South Korea. He's one of my good friends that we met when he was here playing with Sporting. He's traveled the world a bit. Now he's ended up in South Korea. I'm happy to have him on. Soony, how you doing, man?
What's up, my man? It's good to be on. Finally, we're able to get this done. But I'm looking forward to it, man.
Awesome. So Soony, it's I know a lot of people probably from the KC area know your name. You had quite a run here, your first stint. But a lot of people I don't think know the Soony Saad before the pros. Mr. Michigan was your name. And I think I looked up that you lead the state in high school for most goals scored in a career, and then most goals and assists in a season. Is that true?
I don't know if it still stands. I think
Okay.
I may have heard that someone broke my record. I think I got a text a couple years back saying, "Hey, this kid broke your record," but I think I held it. Yeah, I might still have it. I think I forgot the numbers, man, but I know that it was 76 in one season.
76 goals. Dude, that's
76
like a
goals
video game on easy. What was
and
oh god.
and they had the mercy rule. The 8-0 or 7-0 was mercy, so we would finish games at halftime.
Oh man.
Granted, the competition wasn't really, academy DA. It wasn't like that, but I mean, if they didn't have a cap on it, I think it could have been like
100?
one hundo, a hundo.
The Centurion. So talk to me, man. What was high school like, dude, to be able to score at will and just dominate? I mean, you don't really find that often. I'm a high school coach, and if I had a kid that could score 76 goals in a season, holy smokes, man. So what was that experience like? How was it how did you find it so easy?
I grew up playing this game, ever since I can remember. I think when I started, playing a couple years up, I have two older sisters. I have an older brother. I was playing up at their age as a young kid. So I was 7 and I was playing under 11 or under 12. And my sisters would play on the boy, against the boys.
Right.
So I was always playing against, I guess, older competition. And when you come in as a high schooler, you're a freshman playing against seniors, juniors. Everyone's older than you, basically.
Yep.
If you make the varsity team. And so that kind of helped me as well. I also didn't have a natural high school career. I was always in and out of the youth national teams.
Mm-hmm.
So I was with the under 14 US team, the under 17. I was in the residency program,
Okay.
which basically took out my junior year of high school.
And that was down in Bradenton, right? Florida?
Down in Bradenton. So I had played maybe from my junior year, I played 5-6 games, and then I went down to Bradenton.
Okay, and you were just down there for schooling, for
For
everything?
schooling, for training every day. So that was like that helped me for my final year, my
Yeah,
senior year, which I absolutely, I mean, 76.
yeah.
I 76'd it.
76 day.
uh, but I think what helped me kind of have that hunger is constantly just training every single day, watching the game. I would watch every single Champions League game that I could.
Yeah,
Play the game. I would play FIFA. It would just like be everything that I do is soccer. I was known in school, every school that I was in, as the soccer kid.
yeah.
Um, so
And
I think that helped.
while down there, I mean, you touched on a good point. Something I tell my kids is you become like a junkie. I mean, you can't get enough soccer. Whether you're playing it, then you're watching it, then you're on video games, then you're talking about it, and it's just it becomes who you are. And I think that that's a very big thing with that success is when it becomes you. You're not just a soccer player; like you're a footballer. You know. Um,
Absolutely. And,
so
and
that's
you're not just watching the game to find the score. You're
right,
not.
exact. No,
You're watching
that's
the
the least of
game
your worries.
for whoever's playing in your position, and you're like, all right, I want to do that. And then when the game's off, you're envisioning what you're going to do the next time you have the ball. I mean, there's a lot that goes into it that doesn't involve you being on the field. One of my old coaches, Martin Rennie, he was really really good. He coached Vancouver Whitecaps. He coached Indy 11. He's still at Indy 11 right now. He also coached here in South Korea.
Oh, okay.
Um, he was really big on the mental game, on envisioning what you're going to do. And I mean, I think I was doing that without even realizing it, you know.
Right.
But that helped kind of shape how I was gonna proceed into my professional career. I was hungry to play professional, man. I just wanted to play pro.
So when did you know that? When did you know you wanted to play pro versus when did it
When did I
become
know
a
that I want to play pro?
yeah, when?
Maybe since I was 11,
Okay.
10, 11.
Now at all right, so you knew you wanted to play pro at 10 or 11. At what age do you think it really set in like, oh shoot, I'm going to play
It's a
pro?
possibility.
Yeah, yeah.
I remember going on it was called the Discover Europe tour.
Okay.
Um, I'm not sure if it's still around. Top Drawer Soccer.
Yep, they're still there.
Top Drawer Soccer, they're really good with recruiting, or they do rankings of recruiter players
Mhm.
for the colleges. They had put together a team, so there was a bunch of tournaments going on throughout the country. They were scouting, putting together a team that they would take to Europe to play against European teams and have scouts look at them for potential to sign.
Right.
And when I went there my first year and did really well, I think I was 15, 16. That's when it hit me. I was like, all right, like this is a possibility. I can make that step up to play professional.
Yeah,
And I mean it wasn't as it's not it wasn't as difficult as I grew up thinking it would be,
for sure.
because over in Europe it's natural, kids make that jump naturally. I mean,
Mhm.
you see how many players started their careers, 17-year-olds, 18-year-olds. They know what they're doing there, and there's a reason why the Champions League is the best tournament in the world, or the European leagues are the best in the world.
Right.
That's no accident. So I guess when I was 15, 16, I received some interest from some teams. I had gone back the following year, which was my senior year, and I had an offer to play. It was between playing in Europe for a
Uh-huh.
professional team or playing university with my brother at the University of Michigan. And I was three feet into the door of
Yeah.
saying I'm playing in Europe. And I remember going on the campus of Michigan and talking to the coaches. My dad was there, and we kind of leaned towards staying for a year, playing it out, playing with my brother, who is a big reason of why I am where I am today.
Mhm.
Um, and I kind of closed the door on that offer in Europe.
Yeah.
Played that freshman year and
You were in
did
Michigan,
well at
right?
Michigan. Did well. We made it to the Final Four.
And what was
Uh,
it like 20? It was like 24 goals, 18 games or something like that. 18 goals, 24 games. I remember
20. It
looking at
might have been 19 goals. I think it was
19
19
goals.
goals.
There we go. 19 goals freshman year.
19 goals as a freshman, and you would think that a generation Adidas contract would be there. There was generation Adidas contracts that were given out for 7, 8 goals a season. I didn't get it. That was the year Akron had, I don't know how many players that went to the MLS.
Yeah.
Um,
And that's
but
when
I kind
Caleb
of
was Caleb Porter the coach there then?
Caleb Porter
Right.
was the coach at Akron. We lost to them in the Final Four. Um, and I think before that, before even like towards midway through the season, I was already thinking, all right, when that window opens in December, I want to go to Germany. Like
Jeez.
school, we're gonna have a break for school. I'm
Yeah.
going. I
Yeah.
got a call up to the under 20 team, to the under 20 US National Team.
Okay.
On my debut, I scored against Canada. The coach didn't like me much, which that's something that we'll talk about later.
Yeah, for sure.
Um, but I went to Europe and things didn't materialize how they did 6 months prior. And 6 months can make a big difference in a
Yep.
career.
Yep. Yep.
Um, so I was kind of in limbo. I couldn't go back to college at that point because I had
Because you had already
lost
gone
my
pro.
eligibility.
Yeah. Yeah. Good old
Uh,
NCAA, man. Gotta love them.
yeah, yeah. And then I was kind of like in limbo for a little bit before the MLS decided to sign me, and I got drafted into the lottery with there's 5 teams eligible for that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I was lucky to go to Kansas City, or maybe unlucky.
Well, look, man, before we get into the pro career, right? Just a few things I want to touch on with your youth stuff still. So you were down in that residency program. I know that now that's been disbanded, but what was, you kind of talked about it, but who were some of the players? Anyone that's a big name now that's still playing who you brushed shoulders with or played against down there?
There's a couple guys in the MLS that were in that program.
Cool.
Um,
Now, do you still stay in
Jose,
touch with any of them at all, or is it pretty much not so much?
not so much. I mean, that's kind of how the pro
Business.
world is.
Yeah.
I mean, you have different teammates, you have new teammates. Life goes on. You still kind of keep in touch with them. On social media.
Right.
But I mean, I think I was friends with mostly everyone down there. There one of my friends, he went to Europe. He played in Germany. He just
Uh,
got back to the MLS. Plays for Cincinnati. Joseph Claudio.
okay.
Um, this is his first year in the MLS. Um, Sebastian Lletget, he played at West Ham for a little bit, and
Hmm.
then he's now with LA Galaxy. There's other names I'm forgetting right off the top of my head.
Yeah, I kind of
But
put you on the
I
spot.
didn't know. I didn't know that they disbanded that program.
Yeah, yeah. I think it might be now just like IMG Academy. But they
Okay.
did away with it, especially with all the MLS getting their own youth academies. You
That
know,
makes
they're
sense. Actually, that does make sense. The dynamics of you're talking to me about the academy and how it was for me, and everything is so much different now.
yeah.
It's really hard to assess how players can make it up when now the tools are already there. Before the tools weren't there.
Hmm.
So it's a different time period, but at the same time, I think I do have some good words of advice to whoever's listening to your high school kids that are probably listening.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Cool. Well, all right. So you got drafted, yeah, by Sporting. You came here to Kansas City, which You know, when I first moved here, I had some apprehensions about it. You know, I didn't know what to expect being in the middle of the country. But it looked like you did well. It showed you scored on your debut, which happened to be your 19th birthday. Um, so I remember when I first moved here to KC, one of the big selling points was sporting and having a professional team here. I moved here in like 2012, and I can remember it was you, it was like Dom, it was CJ, it was, I just kept hearing these names, and it looked like you guys were just living the life. You were scoring goals, you were having fun on the field, you were doing your things off the field that we can or cannot go into, whichever you prefer, but it just looked like you were enjoying life, man. What was coming to sporting like as a professional? You're 19, 18, 19, still trying to kind of figure life out, but you've got that pro contract. What was life like for a young Soony Saad?
Life was, it was exciting. It was there was always something new, and the cool thing about the time period that we did come to sporting was it got like a facelift.
Yeah.
They used to be the Wizards before. They got a brand new stadium. They got brand new owners, and so things were on the up and ups. They were progressing towards becoming like a real professional club, one that is almost the same that you see in Europe.
Mm-hmm.
So we came at a really, really nice time. Also, the people in Kansas City, I mean, Kansas City loves their sports.
Yep.
Chiefs, Royals, you name it. With Sporting Kansas City, when we started to, like, when we came in, we had just, developed like a good style of play where we were able to get good results.
Mm-hmm.
And when you add a stadium like that, like what's it? Not Sporting Park anymore.
Children's Mercy now. It was Live Strong, but then, Lance.
The names that, I mean,
yeah.
Tell me how many times Anfield or Old Trafford would be changed.
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
But hey, that's here.
That's where we
there.
are. That's where we are.
Yeah. But anyways, we came there at a time where things were on the up and ups. The people in the city, they really got behind their team. Mm-hmm. And like we started to feel like celebrities off the field, not big celebrities, but it was nice that people paid attention to us.
Yeah,
it was the first time in our careers. I mean, we kind of felt I felt a little bit of it at Michigan, not so much. But when you move on to the professional stage, it's different. People see you on TV. Things were it was a dream come true. But at the same time, I remember in my first year or my first stint at Sporting, I wanted to play more. I mean, every player wants to play, but I felt like I should be playing more. Mm-hmm. And I do think if I had come in at a later time, things like I might have played a lot more, because the trend that you're seeing now is that young kids are given the opportunity.
Yep. It's encouraged, almost over the old, not older, but the more seasoned person is getting that young 17,
exactly.
19-year-old.
I think all around the last two leagues that I played in Lebanon and here in Korea, there is a rule that young under 20 or under 21 players have to play a certain amount of minutes for the season. Otherwise, they're deducted points. For here in Korea, there has to be an under 21 player that starts the game.
Huh. Wow. Okay.
So there is an emphasis on young players, and I don't think that was the case when I was 21 at Sporting. Nonetheless, I mean, I was patient. I waited my turn to get my chances. I did well. And I remember that was the time that I moved to Thailand right afterward.
Yep. And that's what actually brought me into the next thing we were going to talk about. So how did you end up in Thailand from Sporting KC? Was it more of an agent thing? Was it you wanted a new opportunity? You wanted to play more?
I wanted to. I think it was simple. It came down to three things. The first thing is that I wanted to play more.
Mhm.
Okay, I wasn't getting that chance at Sporting where I'm playing every single week.
Mhm.
I also wanted to feel appreciated. I
Yeah.
remember that final year at Sporting,
The first time, correct?
um,
Or the last stint?
the first stint,
Right.
the first stint. Um, it was either the final year or the second to final year. We had made it to the final, the MLS Cup final. And in that season, I was maybe third on the team with goals. I had contributed, you know, I was doing well. I was in my prime.
Yeah.
Uh, and the final game of the season, I wasn't even in the 18. And I remember coming into training and like just shocked looking at the coaches, and they were like, yeah, well, sorry. Like, so at that point, I was just like, and at that point, I was like, you know what? Okay, if I have the chance to play for another team,
Yeah.
I'm taking it.
Yep.
I want to go
Yep.
somewhere where I'm appreciated and where I can play and show what I can do. And I guess the third reason came down to my passport. I have a Lebanese passport.
Okay.
During the early years at Sporting, I committed to playing with the Lebanese National Team. So having the Lebanese passport gives me the Asian slot option when
Uh-huh.
playing for a team in Asia. They have rules for foreigners here where you could only have 5 foreigners, or
Hold on
you
one
can only have
second.
3 foreigners on the field, but you can have an Asian slot player as a fourth.
Okay.
So I was basically a foreign player, but counted as an Asian player. And that brought me to
All right.
Thailand.
Hold on one second. This is my Aria is getting involved here. 1 second, sis. All right.
Slot, which was that's what kind of brought me to Thailand. I received an offer, and my contract had run out at Sporting. They had not even approached me to negotiate anything.
So it was kind of a
Uh,
thing where you knew that they didn't want you. You didn't feel appreciated. You knew it was time for a change.
I mean, if you want a player, don't you want to resign a player? If you were the coaches, or would you not have a conversation? Hey, like, what are you doing next season?
Right.
We
Right.
would like you to be in our plans. Let's set up a meeting, something.
Yeah. Yeah.
I had signed with my contract ran out. I signed with the team in Thailand, and then I got calls from the assistant coach of Sporting saying, "Hey, what are you doing next season?" Like,
Right. Right.
I don't know. It was a bit too late. I have no hard feelings for what happened at that time. Um, but so I went to Thailand, and my first 6 preseason games, I had scored 5 goals.
So
I was
soon
like,
back
yeah,
to
this is
doing
it.
what he
Like, I'm
loves. Yeah.
back. They're like,
Yep.
I made the right decision. I'm going to tear
Yep.
this league up.
Yep.
And the 7th game, I got tackled from behind, tore my meniscus. Out for 6 months. Did surgery there.
Yeah.
The rehab in Thailand, language barrier wasn't really the best.
Yeah.
My agent knew a physical trainer that ended up flying to Thailand, staying with me for 3 weeks. His name is Lawrence
Mm-hmm.
Evans, great guy. He worked with Gilberto Silva from Arsenal in Brazil.
Yep.
He worked with PSV before.
Okay.
He stayed with me and basically got me back. It was only until after he came. He got me back. A 6-month injury took me 9 months to get back.
Right.
And there goes the entire season. I signed a
Yeah.
2-year contract. The following year, because I hadn't played a game, that team sent me on loan to another team in the first division.
Mm-hmm.
And my first game with them, I scored as well.
I got it.
That season, I think I had 10 goals, 12 assists.
Okay. Very
And one of my teammates who actually now plays in Korea in the first division,
good.
he's the
Uh-huh.
leading goal scorer of the K League right now. And I played on the same team with him in Thailand. Great guy, Brazilian guy. But it's funny how things work, man. It really is.
Yeah. Well, and then so after Thailand, you had the 1 year there, and then you came back to the
I
state
came back.
and back
So
to
yeah,
Spain.
I had negotiated a good deal to come to Kansas City, where I would receive more money on the second year of my contract.
Mm-hmm.
And the first season didn't really go as planned. I mean, didn't I think Sporting was looking for that season that I was gone, the 2 years that I was gone. I don't think they did really well in the league, and they
Okay.
were looking for some options. Dom was flourishing. He was doing really well. He became kind of the poster child of the city.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and when I came back, I was thinking, all right, we're going to pick up where we left off, but this time I've got experience and I'm going to help as much as I can. I'm going to be trusted.
Mm-hmm.
I'm older now. I don't feel like I got that trust from the coaches. I think anywhere you go as a player, you need time to adjust, and you
Yep.
also need games to adjust. You can't just judge a player from one performance or two performances. There needs to be some sort of rhythm that a player gets into,
Yep.
um, to be able to maximize his potential. I mean, so if you start one of your players one game, he doesn't really do what you think he's going to do, and then you play him maybe 4 or 5 games later, you bring him on as a substitute. It kind of messes with the rhythm.
Yeah.
It's better to judge if you really if you really trust and believe in a player. It's important to give them the time to adjust. After 3, 4, 5 games, okay, if they're making small mistakes or big mistakes, then you can
Make a
pull
more.
them out, make them a
Yeah.
sub. You can
Yeah.
work with them that way. I don't think that was the case in Kansas City, my second stint, even my first stint, to be honest. Um, but that's what you get at the professional level.
Right.
You know, you get, I mean, you get a chance and you have to take it. I think a little bit more patience from coaches is necessary to maximize whatever they're getting from their players. And then so
When I
on the
remember
second,
we talked about it. It was your second stint where we met, and when we were hanging out, I remember you talking to me about, hey, I feel like I'm doing well at training. I just want to play, and I feel like I'm not getting that opportunity. And I remember how bummed out, that you would be some days coming home from training that you just wanted to play, and that's I
you got
kind
to
of
put
feel
me
like
on blast like that.
yeah.
You make it sound like I was like crying in your
Oh
shoulder.
no, 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 not yet.
I'm messing with you. No, no, dude, it's stressful. It's stressful when
Yeah,
you put in the work and you're not given the opportunity. But that's what I think it takes. It takes to be a professional is to weather through these mental battles that you have with yourself.
wait, one
Not
second.
everything.
One
Go
second.
ahead.
All right. My dog is just doing everything she can to annoy me right now. All right, go ahead. Sorry,
I
man.
was saying, yeah, these mental battles, man, you really have to be prepared to play. If you want to play professional, you have to be prepared for what it takes off the field when
Mm-hmm.
things aren't going your way, when you're not getting the play time, to be mentally strong, and to remain positive. I do remember you always saying, keep working hard, your time's gonna come. Uh, and I think that season had ended, or midway through the season, they had traded Dom.
Yep,
If you
to
remember, they
Orlando.
traded Dom,
Yep.
and I think, and I don't, I mean, I don't know. I'm not who knows what really went behind what was behind the scenes and everything. But I do think the club had moved to transition into something different. I think
Oh yeah.
anything that reminded them of Dom,
Out.
kind of, yeah, out. It kind of got sour because they wanted to keep him and they weren't able to. Um, so they towards the end of that season had finished. remember I was working with you for preseason. Remember
Yep, we were training together a few times a week.
to stay fit,
Yep.
and I got a call from the technical director. I don't know, well, whatever his name was, some guy I never spoke to in my life before,
Yeah.
saying, "Hey, Peter doesn't have you in his plans for preseason. So what are you gonna do?" And this was a day or couple days
It was,
before
yeah, right
preseason.
before. Yep. Yep.
And I just remember thinking, like, Peter Vermees, this coach who I kind of grew up with, he gave me advice about my relationships, my parents, uh, laughed with, joked with, saw on a daily basis. This guy could not give me a call, shoot me a
Right.
message to say, "Hey, listen, like, we're gonna try to find another option for you." Nothing, absolutely
Right.
nothing. Just left. They're like, "What are you gonna do?" I could have sat on the bench and just collected my paycheck.
Mm-hmm.
It
Mm-hmm.
would have been nice doing nothing. But as a footballer, I wanted to play.
That's what it
So
all
it goes
comes down
back
to,
to it. I,
man.
I
That's what
wanted
it
I
all
wanted to
comes down to.
play at all cost. Any team didn't matter, and that's what brought me to Indy 11. My agent came up with this really fast plan. Said,
Mm-hmm.
"All right, it's 6-month deal. Just get some games in, and then we'll find another move for you." So I went there. Um, Indy 11 didn't really work out how I wanted it to, but at the same time, it wasn't. It was just a season to play, and I ended up playing a little bit. Scored 5 goals. I had some free kicks that were on ESPN. Um, but from there, I moved to Lebanon,
Yeah.
and
And what
this is
what
a
is that
prime.
experience? Yeah, what's that? Because that's where you're from, or that's your
It's
nationality.
my dad's from Lebanon. I was born
Right.
in the States, but
And
I mean, if I step foot in Kansas City or in America, they look at me and they say, "Hey, you're Arabic, you're
yeah,
Lebanese."
yeah,
It's the opposite. When I go to Lebanon, they look at me and they're like, "You're American, you're a foreigner."
yeah.
Um, but I think Lebanon playing in the Lebanese league is a prime example of being given the opportunity game after game, and
Mm-hmm.
then the coach trusting and me producing. It's also a prime example that football, is a game of luck for whoever plays it. And if
Mm-hmm.
you want to play professional, you need a lot of things to fall into your place. So you have to be lucky on a lot of different points. The coach has got to like you. Um, you have to be in the right formation. You have to have the right teammates around you. You can't be injured.
Mm-hmm.
The right country, the right city,
Mm-hmm.
the right owners, the right training field, the right game field. There's so many things that go into it. Um, so, uh, I kind of feel kind of lucky. I was in the starting lineup right away in that Lebanese team that was the number one offense in the league. I scored on my debut over there.
You have a thing for doing that, I see.
I scored on my Lebanese national team debut. I did not score on my debut here in Korea, which I'm
Ah,
a bit bummed about.
you're getting old, man. Is that what it is? You're getting old? Is that what's going on?
I think it's COVID. Corona messed this
Ah,
one up.
there we go. I like that. We can go with that.
um, but so I played there. I think the season was short. Wasn't long. It's a 4 or 5 month contract for
Uh-huh.
10, 11 games. I played in 10 games and had 7 goals. I scored 2 against the champs. Um, and then the team was like, "Hey, like we want you. We want you here for 2 years." And it was really good money. And I said, yes. I said,
Yeah.
all right, like I'm chilling. Um, it's like I met my wife there.
Right.
So
Right.
it's
Of
like
course.
the food's amazing too. I mean, it's chilling. Lebanon's chilling.
Yeah.
And so we start the season. This is towards the end of 2019, September. I had a small injury. no big deal. But I missed like the first 2 games. And then there was a crisis in Lebanon. There was like the economy almost shut down. The
Uh-huh.
people went to the streets to protest against the corruption in the government.
Yeah.
Um, they were blocking the roads,
Oh,
and so training stopped. The league stopped, and we were chilling for a little bit, and then training resumed, but the league still had stopped.
mm-hmm.
They were talking about bringing the league back with no fans. The political climate in Lebanon wasn't too. It wasn't stable at all,
Yeah.
and our team kept things going because we had qualified for the equivalent of the Asian Europa League.
Okay.
So we were in AFC Cup, which we play against other teams in
Mm-hmm.
Asia,
Mm-hmm.
and this was a big deal for my team. And so they kept things going. They had told the players that they were going to cut our salaries because of the political situation. Like banks were not letting people withdraw their money. They're still not letting people withdraw their money. Like my money right now, most of it is stuck in Lebanon, and I can't get it out.
Yeah.
I can't even withdraw it.
That's
Um, the so the Lebanese lira is like 1,500. So normally it's 1,500 to $1,
okay.
and now it's at 8,000 to $1. So and
Man.
it's going up, it's going down. Like things are
Man.
just so expensive there, and they
Yeah.
don't. Lebanon's also a country that doesn't export anything; they import everything. So when gas companies and gas stations are buying their gas in dollar and then selling it in lira, they're losing 800%. Or I don't know, I'm not a mathematician. They're
Right.
losing a lot of money on it. So they closed and they shut down. And that was basically everything that was going through my head um, towards the beginning of this year of 2020.
Yeah.
And on top of that, like I had not agreed to getting a salary cut. My club was like, "Hey, like we're not going to pay for your apartment anymore." And then I was like, you know what? All right, I'm terminating my contract, and I'll just go to FIFA
Yeah.
because I can.
That's BS.
And yeah, it's not. I didn't sign up for this.
Yeah.
I'm not a Lebanese player. They were paying the foreign players more,
Mm-hmm.
and they were paying me the same as the Lebanese player. And they're like, well, they live outside. They live. They don't live in Lebanon. And I was like, I don't live in Lebanon either.
Right. I'm just here now for the job.
Yeah. So things were unfair. I mean, it kind of worked out that way because when I had terminated my contract officially, I had received an offer from a team here in Korea.
Okay.
And I was like, yes, hell
Sign me
yes.
up. Sign me
Get
up.
me out of Lebanon
Yeah.
ASAP.
Yeah.
It's almost like you ever watch the movies where, the plane takes off and then the airport explodes?
Yeah.
Or like,
Yep.
yeah, that was me leaving Lebanon because
You
when I
see it in
got
the
my visa.
background. You see the flames, and it's like the action shot of you going off.
Yeah, because when I got my visa, on a Tuesday. This was in March,
Uh-huh.
and they announced that they were closing the airport on Thursday because of coronavirus.
Right.
I got on the last flight out on Wednesday night, and the airport was closed. My wife would have came with me, but she
Couldn't catch
couldn't.
that
They
flight.
had just opened it at the beginning of July. But yeah, so I literally got out. I mean, imagine if I was stuck there, airport closed.
There
This
goes your
team, I would not be
contract.
playing here.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I was super lucky to be able to come here, and the timing worked out perfectly.
That's dope, man. Well, and you touched on it. So you played for the youth national team here in the States, and then you've capped now on the first team with the Lebanese national team. So what made you make that decision to go from the U.S. to then the first squad in Lebanon?
Um, I remember getting calls from Lebanon,
Mm-hmm.
calls from numbers I did not recognize, and I think I was 19 at the time.
Okay.
19. I I was I was at Sporting, and I wasn't playing. And this goes back to this is you're gonna find a pattern. I just wanted to play.
Right.
I wanted to
That's
play,
it.
and Lebanon had called me up. They were like, "All right, like we know your dad's Lebanese." They were looking for a talent outside, and I was like, "All right." The coach was German, which I had some sort of familiarity. I was familiar with the German style of coaching, and I was like, yeah, like I just want to play. I wasn't playing with Sport in Kansas City, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna feel kind of important traveling and coming back and having this status
Hmm.
with me. Maybe I could wait, in the future to play for the U.S. team since I was part of the youth system. But do I want to wait? And these decisions that we make in our professional careers, they really define where our careers go. And another thing is that they have to be decisive. I mean, a lot of things in my career were decisive decisions that had to be made. And if I sat around thinking about it, the window would have gone.
Would have
Just like it
closed.
did go on my first time around where I could have gone to play in Germany with Mainz.
Hmm.
Um, I turned my back on it. I kind of hesitated. 6 months later, it was gone. So I right away, jumped on this opportunity to play with the Lebanese National Team. I scored on my debut, uh, and and I kind of felt a little bit more respect from Sporting Kansas City when I got back.
Right.
I also felt like I was representing my dad, and that he was proud. Like my family in Lebanon were proud of me. So it was nice, man. It was a nice feeling.
That's cool. Well, and man, it's funny because I talked with Musa the other day, and you two have said a lot of similarities. One with the mental aspect of being a professional player and what that's like when you need to be resilient and bounce back. He also represented his country and with New Zealand, and he said that like when you put on that jersey and they play the national anthem, he was like, you feel like it's bigger than you're representing. He said he was playing for his parents. You're playing for your dad. That's a cool feeling that I can't relate to, but I get chills thinking about what that's like, all those fans, your whole country there cheering for
Yeah,
that's
I think it even sank in more like in my first camp with the team in Lebanon.
uh-huh.
Like going Lebanon is basically like it's a big beach.
Okay.
The whole country is like California in a sense of like the
Along the
sea.
coast.
It's along the coast.
Yeah.
And I remember like walking along it, and I was like, wow, my dad's from here. Like this
Yeah.
place is beautiful. This is
Yeah.
like unreal. And like just seeing everyone like when you step outside of the States, it's like a different world, man. I feel like we live in a bubble in the US, not in a negative way, but
It's our
I
own
think only
bubble for sure.
only when you go to visit other places, you're able to kind of see and appreciate the ways of life for for how other people live.
Hmm.
And like you can appreciate like that you're playing for this national team, and that you got to perform, you got to do well. It's religion, like soccer is religion everywhere other than the States,
Yeah.
to be honest.
Yeah. Yeah.
uh so like the passion, I remember also playing them in the Derby game in Lebanon with my team.
Uh-huh.
um Dude, it was like
Intense.
I'll send you a photo of it.
Yeah, please do, man.
In the middle of the game, there's these two fans that made it onto the track, and like
Yeah.
there's a photo of them doing like flying kicks in each other. It was
That's awesome.
insane.
That's awesome. Um, there you go. You're back. So what some generic questions, and I talk to a lot of the kids who I train, and um they've had questions about, what to ask certain players. And, for the ones that are listening, Soony is one of the people that he touched on during his preseason. Him and I worked together before No Stress Midwest was like even a thing. And it was just, we'd go to this indoor place, put in an hour session together. And that was my first time working with a professional athlete, someone that wasn't a 9-year-old kid. So it was cool to kind of see the difference in how I had to progress as a trainer and as a coach to work with someone who's played with, who's named Mr. Michigan. So I thank you for that, Soony. But what advice do you have for the young players? Anyone that wants to play college, that wants to play pro, maybe isn't scoring 76 goals in a season. What advice do you have for them to get to that next point?
You know, I could go on and try to be specific about, this is what you have to do. You have to work on your left foot, your right foot. I guess the first thing that I would say is that you have to be passionate and you have to put in the work to get what you want in anything that you do in life.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Whether you choose to be a professional soccer player, whether you choose to go to college and become a doctor or a lawyer or whatever, put in 100% in anything that you do. When it comes to being a professional soccer player, I don't like I said, the dynamics have changed with academy, with how there's homegrown players being signed.
Yeah.
There's no under 17 national team in Bradenton. But for young players that do want to become professional, I think it's important to live, eat, and breathe this game, to put in as much time as you can on working on parts of your game that you want to improve, parts of your game that you're good at, and things that you think that you will use in the game. You have someone that has these tools right here next to you, and that's worked with professional athletes before. So use him, and work on yourself. If you're not working with him, then juggle on your own. Go to the field. I can't remember how many times I went to the field on my own with my brother. I was lucky to have a brother 1 year older than me, that would hop in goal, and vice versa. That's how I got my shooting to be where it is right now.
That's what you have to do.
Constant repetition.
Yep.
If there's one thing that I would like, if I wish I can go back and improve or work on more as a 17, 16-year-old kid, it's my left foot. Not that I don't have a good left foot now or powerful left foot. I just wish that I used it more. And because as a soccer player, if you have the option to go to your right foot and your left foot, you are very, very hard to predict. You're very hard to defend against. Mm-hmm. And it can get you out of very sticky and tight situations. So having the option and working on that left foot is really, really important. You're probably going to come back and say, well, look at Messi.
But not everyone.
He only uses his
no
left
one's
foot.
Messi. No one is Messi.
If
right?
you're Lionel Messi, exactly. Okay. Look at Ronaldo. Ronaldo's got a left and right foot.
He's got it all. And he knows it because he has to work on all of those things because he wants to set himself apart, like you said. So he's impossible to defend. You force him left, he goes right. You force him right, he goes left. You force him right, and he still wants to go right, he'll take you right. It doesn't matter, right? And I think that's someone who I'm sure probably works tirelessly. You can see from his social media at making himself the best person that he can be, physically, mentally. He's doing it all, and that's huge for the youth players. And you said in the beginning, you've got to become addicted to the game. In any way, shape, or form, you've got to be able to watch it, play it, read it, listen to it. It's got to be in you.
Absolutely. And another thing is players, they develop at different rates.
Yep.
You cannot focus on negatives, or you cannot focus on what the guy next to you is doing. What you have to focus on is yourself, getting better as an individual. Because at the next level, when you incorporate a team, when you have a coach that's trying to win, and he's just going to play the best player, but also the best player that plays with the rest of his teammates, it's really important that you are ready and you're not just focused on, all right, I'm better than this guy, so I'm content. No, you have to keep improving as an individual, and you have to be mentally strong. There's some coaches that aren't going to like you, straight up. There's going to be some teams that you just can't play for.
Mm-hmm.
Some systems or formations that you just can't play for. You just can't fit in. It's important to stay focused, determined. If this is what you want to do, if you want to play professional, put it in your head, no matter what obstacles are in my way, no matter what teammates I'm playing with, no matter who's coaching me, this is what I'm going to do, and I'm going to do it at all costs. I think, yeah, staying mentally strong is really important.
Yeah. All right.
In this game, it's probably about 50%, if not more. Because when you get to the professional level, everybody has skill. Everybody has skill. Everybody's
everyone's good. That cancels out. So it's what's different?
What's different? Are you mentally strong to handle, the coach not playing you? Are you mentally strong to handle losing 5 games in a row, just like we did, and then winning that 6th game? I think it's nice being where I am and being able to give advice. I had a kid, he was asking me recently, hey, Soony, what do I do? Do I go play college, or do I just try to try out for a professional team? Mm-hmm. And every player is different. Mm-hmm. Every player develops at different rates.
Yep.
If you need to go play in college to develop and play against higher competition, okay. Not everyone can go straight to the pros.
Right.
And in college is not a bad option. I don't think it's the best option. I think playing in a professional environment is the best option. Mm-hmm. But like I said, all players, they develop differently at different stages. And it's on you to determine, how bad do you want this? How bad do you want to play pro?
Yep.
And if you really do want it, then it'll happen.
Great.
And you put in the work. If you
put in the
can't
work, right? Yeah.
Want it, and then sit on the couch. No, you got to want it. You got to put in the work, and and not complain. And you have to be lucky.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, Soony, dude, this was a great podcast. I think you hit on a lot of good stuff for not only for me that I was able to learn, but for the followers and the people listening on.
By the way, I know a guy here. I've been working with him. Maybe you've seen it on my Instagram. He has a place like your place, or I don't know if you're still in the same place.
I'm not.
It's on it reminded me of your place, except it was smaller. It was on like the 2nd floor of a building.
Okay.
But it was just a small field.
Yeah.
And he gets professional players that come into him every single week and work on small details. Mm-hmm. And I went to him, and I learned more with him than I had in the entire training with my team. So the individual work that you work on, that's not with your team, is more important to your development and to you progressing as a player than when you're working with a team. Because when you're working with a team, you're working with everybody. The coach is focused on everyone. When you're working on yourself and you're working kind of solo, you're able to narrow down on your touches, on what you need to improve on. And that's very important. I still do this training too. Even though I'm a professional player, I think it's really beneficial. And maybe we can chat later about like some things that I was doing. Maybe you can incorporate it with whoever wants to join your sessions. Yeah. About your first touch. But the guy watched my videos of the games. We went over video together, And he was like, all right, this is what we're going to do. He set up the training session. All right, we want your first touch to be here. And we just like, it was nice, man. It reminded me of the time I was training with you.
Dude,
So
that's dope. And for everyone listening, I did not pay him to say that stuff. This
no
is
stress Midwest.
Oh man, yeah, that's good stuff, man. Well, hey Soony, I talked to you a little about this before we hopped on live, but I want to get this with all of my podcast guests is your dream five-a-side. Okay, so it's going to be you plus a goalie and three other people, and I want you to pick two teams. One team is going to be with all people you've played with, and then another one's going to be just your dream, anyone that you could pick. And we'll just say we'll keep it living people for now.
Oh, you got me there. No, there was nobody that died that I was gonna say, I think.
Okay.
All right.
So
My team. The teams, the players that I've played with.
Mm-hmm.
We are going to go with starting in goal, we will have Jimmy Nielsen.
Ooh.
The White Puma.
Yeah, the White Puma. He's a
I
KC
love the
legend.
White Puma. Great guy. Great guy.
All right,
we got Jimmy. Game.
We got Jimmy and net.
We got Jimmy and net. We got three others, you said?
Yep. We got Soony up top.
All right. Center back, I am going to go with Aurelian Cullen.
Okay.
AC 78.
Yep.
Such a great guy on and off the field. Really, really class act. Aurelian's a good friend.
Sporting KC guy. Former Sporting guy.
We're going to go in the midfield.
Okay.
A player, I'm going to count it. I played with him for one half, 45 minutes when I was 15 years old. Zinedine Zidane.
Oh my goodness! What?
He gave me an assist.
He gave you an assist.
It was Adidas ESP All-Star game. Zidane played on one half, one team for one half, the other team the other half. He played on my team. I had a free kick as well, and I was lining up to take it. And I was like, wait a second. I got Zidane here. And he's like, no, I don't want to take it.
Okay.
And I was like, no. Well, I'm not taking it. You take it.
Take it. Yeah.
He took it and scored, and I jumped on him. So, yeah, me and him are boys.
There we go. I like that.
Zizou in the middle.
Don, man. We need one more person.
AC 78. We'll go Zidane and DD 14. Dom Dwyer. Great guy. Still my bro.
Dom Dwyer. Another former Sporting KC guy now with Orlando. Good. All right. So we've got
that's my team for who I've played with. The other team.
Yep. Let's hear the other one.
The other team starting in goal. I will go with Iker Casillas. Sergio Ramos.
Ooh, okay.
I mean, am I dumb to not say Messi and Ronaldo?
You know, you aren't, because you're 2 for 2. I'm 2 for 2 now with people choosing both of them as their teammates.
I'm not. I'm gonna say Iniesta and
Ronaldo. Iniesta and Ronaldo. I like it. So we've got Casillas and keep.
That's my team.
Sergio.
You threw me off with the goalkeeper.
Oh, I know. Well, most people don't think about the goalies, man. You gotta.
I wouldn't. I would play without a goalie.
As most people would.
I would go Van Dijk and Ramos.
Oh man, so Soony, dude, that's that kind of wraps up what we've got, man. I appreciate you hopping on the call. We were able to get a lot of stuff discussed. I think you had a lot of great content, a lot of great gems for people listening. I think you have a very unique and interesting career path and playing path as a soccer player, kind of playing in different countries, different leagues, going through the high school rank, the college rank, and the professional rank. I mean, I think it's awesome, man. So I'm glad that we were able to get on here. When we get off, you're gonna have to shoot me your address so I can send you some No Stress Midwest merch. And then with that, I asked for a signed Soony Saad jersey so I can begin my collection in my podcast office of all the guys we've had on.
I'll get that going. It's in Korean. It says Saad in Korean.
Hey, that's fine. I'm okay with it. I'll be able to tell people that I know Korean now.
Sounds good.
Any final?
Hey, thanks for
final
having
words?
me. I appreciate you having me. It was nice, refreshing to be able to touch up on my time in Kansas City and how I've kind of progressed in my career and in my decision making and what it took to be a professional. These same principles that I've said, these same things that I said are important for young players. They're also important for players that are playing currently. These are my fundamentals that I like to stick with, and I'm glad that you had me on the show to be able to share with young and upcoming future professionals. So thanks for having me, and I'll send that jersey your way.
My man.
It's green. It's green.
That's the first green jersey I have, so I'll be excited, man.
I don't think there's any Portland Timbers.
I don't right now anticipate getting one of their jerseys, but
yeah, I wouldn't.
I've been wrong before, so. All right, Soony, my man. Thanks for being on, and we will chat soon. Okay.
Sounds good. 안녕하세요. 안녕하세요.